I'd rather do it myself.
All right. All right. So, Dad, we just spent quite a long time trying to figure out how to get light in here, and discussing whether or not you need a babysitter. So now we're ready to proceed with what we're really doing, right?
Okay.
All right. So what we're doing is I've been talking about you to people for my whole life, and I have realized that I don't really know your story. So we're gonna come up with one central story that we can all stick to. All right, so that no one else will ask you, and we'll get caught out. We're gonna agree to a history, whether it's the truth or not. We'll worry about that later. Okay. All right. Let's start easy. What's your birthday?
August 6, 1937.
All right, and where were you born?
On the farm south of Fremont, Missouri.
All right, and your mom's name?
Opal Lucille Godsy Odell.
All right.
Odell Godsy.
Odell Godsy. Right. And how old was she when you were born?
I'm supposed to know that.
Nope. If you don't know, you don't know.
She was about 30.
She was about 30 when you were born. Okay. And what was your dad's name?
Ira Howard Godsy
Senior. Okay.
Senior.
And he was older than your mom, correct?
10 years older.
Okay. All right. And was the farm that you were born onto, was that part of his family's farm or your mom's family's farm, or did they buy it together?
It was Grandma's farm.
Grandma
Kroger.
Okay. And what's her relationship to you? Obviously grandmother, but I mean, how do you get from Grandma Kroger to you?
She was the widow of John Miller Godsy.
Okay.
And she had married Mr. Kroger.
Okay. So her first husband was a Godsy. Her second husband was Kroger.
Yes.
Okay. And then who was your dad her child?
Yes.
Gotcha. And I've always heard of an Uncle T. Kroger, so he would have been your uncle.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, all right, we're already clearing things up because I didn't know how that happened. Now, did your grandmother, Kroger, own that whole farm, or only a portion of it, or did she break it up?
She owned the whole thing. Past the house, down the valley, up the valley. The part where the barn was in the spring, where David's house is, didn't fit on that farm.
Okay. Who owned that?
I don't know. The York place was where David built his house.
I remember there was a York pond that we used to deer hunt around.
Yeah,
Okay. And who were the Yorks?
the York family was Edna York and her husband. I don't know what his name was.
Okay. All right. And when did that portion of the farm come into the Godsy family?
Uh, Dad bought it from York. I don't know when. Maybe David knows, but I don't.
Was it bought before you were born?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you were born, where was the house located that you lived in? Was it down in the valley or up on top of the hill where the house was when I was a little kid?
Uh, it was down the hill by the old garden.
Okay. So when you're coming up the gravel road, the gravel driveway, it would have been to the right of that gravel driveway, correct?
Right.
Okay. And there's a fence line there and a spring that runs kind of alongside it. So it would have been kind of in that. It was near the old. It wasn't quite as far up the hill as the old blacksmith shop, was it? Didn't you have a little farrier shop or a blacksmith shop?
There by the spring.
Right.
The house I lived in was as you come over the bank there by the garden.
Okay. All right. And tell me about that house. It was one story, correct?
Well, yes.
All right. And
it was a very poor built house.
Who built it?
My dad.
Okay. And what was it made out of? Was it wood?
Wood, but it was built like a box, not frame house.
Oh, okay. Did he make the lumber himself or did he buy the lumber?
He bought the lumber.
Gotcha. And about how big was it? What were the dimensions of the footprint of that house?
The main house was about 12 foot wide and 40 foot long.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then what do you mean by the main house? Were there parts built off of it?
Yes. The kitchen and the girls' bedroom were shed type arrangement on the back side of the house.
Okay. And how many girls lived in that room?
3.
Okay. So would that have been Dorothy, Marjorie, and Jean?
Yeah.
Okay. And then where was the boys' room?
On the extreme west end.
Okay. How big was the boys' room?
About 12 by 12.
And it was at the same size as the girls' room?
Yes.
All right.
No. The girls' room was about 10 by 12.
Okay, so the girls' room was a little bit smaller than the boys' room?
Yes.
How many boys lived in the boys' room?
3.
David Jr. and you.
Yeah.
Okay. And did this house have electricity?
No.
Did it have plumbing?
No.
And what were the floors?
Pine, tongue and groove, pine.
Okay. All right. And so this building was built by your dad. How long was it the family house at the farm? How old were you when that stopped being the family house?
About 12.
Okay. Is that when you built the new house up on top of the hill?
No, we didn't build that house. It was there. We remodeled it and lowered the ceiling to 8 feet and put an upstairs in it.
Oh.
Me and Junior did that while Dad was in Wyoming, working in the logwoods with David.
Wow. So
David went out there earlier, and Dad followed him out.
okay. So how old was David when he went out to do logging in Wyoming?
First year of college.
Oh, so he would have been 18.
Yes.
All right. And how much older than you is David?
Between 5 and 6 years.
Okay. So,
David will be 91 the 4th of April.
okay. So if he was, so you would have been, 12 or 13. And how old was Junior at this time?
2 years older than me.
Okay. So 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Well, who else besides the two of you worked on remodeling the house and adding an extra floor to it?
No, nobody.
Well, how'd you guys know how to do that?
We just did it.
Okay.
Probably not well, but we did it anyway. You don't span 10 feet with 2x6.
No, you
But we did.
don't. All right. Well, it's not standing anymore, but it was still standing, 10 years ago. So, all right. And that house on top of the hill that you that was already standing, that you renovated and moved into, it had plumbing. I remember it having plumbing.
It had a bathroom and
a kitchen sink.
a kitchen
Yeah.
sink, but it had electricity. Irvin Rogers wired it back about 52.
Okay. So you were born in 37, and that house was wired in 1952. Is that the first time you lived in a house that had electricity?
Yes.
All right. Did you help Irvin Rogers wire that house?
No.
Okay. Was that part of rural electrification?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And when he originally wired that house, did he put like outlets in every room or just a couple outlets and a couple lights? What did he do?
He put outlets in every room and lights in every room.
All right. And then did you have like an electric furnace?
No,
How did you heat that house?
wood
Wood stove?
wood stove.
Okay. I remember as a kid, when we would drive out there, there would be just piles and piles of what looked like pizza pie shaped, pizza slice shaped pieces of wood. They were kind of, they would be like triangles that were about an inch thick. Do you recall those?
They were maybe thicker than that, but Mom cooked with wood also,
Okay.
and the wood for the cook stove was sliced thinner than the heating of wood.
Oh, okay. Never even occurred to me. All right. Now, on that farm, what did you guys raise?
Well, we had cattle uh, and sheep and pigs.
Okay. So a lot of livestock. Did you grow any crops?
Yes, we grew corn every year and oats for hay and soybeans,
Okay.
but we didn't sell them. We fed them to the uh, livestock.
Okay. Did you sell any of your crops?
Uh, Mostly we sold truck farm products out of the garden.
Oh, okay. How big was your garden?
It was probably about an acre.
And what would you grow in your garden?
Tomatoes, cucumbers, and anything that would grow,
Okay.
like sweet potatoes. We grew Irish potatoes, but not in the garden.
Okay.
We had a separate potato patch.
How come?
It took too much room. There wasn't room for it in the garden.
Okay. So, other than selling grocery or vegetable truck groceries, what else did you as your family do for money when you were a kid?
We sold eggs and butter.
Okay. Who churned the butter?
Everybody,
Okay. And how much butter would you guys make in when you would take it out to sell? How much would you have on hand when you would decide it was ready to go sell some butter?
uh, a pound or two, but Mom would sell it to the stores in Van Buren, and Opal Godsy's butter and eggs became sought after.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
she was well the best the around.
How do you make butter? I've never done that. So what are the steps?
You churn cream.
Okay, you churn cream, and you did this by hand?
Yes.
All right. And how long does it take? How long do you churn cream to turn it into butter? Does it take a long time?
Yes. Uh, it seemed like a lot longer when you were doing it.
Well, what made Opal's butter better than other people's if you're just churning cream? Did she add like salt or something to it to make it taste better?
No, she sold sweet butter. That's unsalted,
All right.
natural butter.
All right. All right.
And that's real butter.
Gotcha. And then did you sell butter every day or once a week? How often would you take it into the store to sell it?
About once a week,
Okay.
but it's was uh, 3 to 5 pounds a week.
Okay. So you take 3 to 5 pounds of butter in a week. How many eggs would you take in?
30 dozen at a time.
30 dozen.
Yeah, we had egg crates that would hold 30 dozen.
Wow. Wow. And how did you get your butter and your eggs to the stores in Van Buren?
Dad would take them in with a wagon and team. And
Okay. A wagon and a team. That means it was pulled by horses, right?
yes,
All right. So we didn't talk about having horses on the farm yet. How many
Well-
horses did you have as a team? Would it be 2 or 4? How many horses on a team?
2
Okay. And what kind of horses did you guys use?
iron grays. Our best team was iron gray.
Okay. And did you have horses for riding as well as horses for pulling wagons?
Well, sometimes we did. Old Prince was as mainly a saddle horse.
Okay.
Sometimes Dad would go to town with just Prince,
Okay.
and Vic stayed in a barn.
Okay.
Vic's was a female horse.
Okay. So you had the Iron Gray team, Prince, and Vix. Did you have any other horses growing up?
Well, figure that horses only lived 20 years. We had some other horses.
I gotcha. Was 4 the typical number of horses you'd have at the farm?
3
3.
usually.
So a team and then 1 riding horse?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And did you use a team also to pull the plows and to do your gardening?
Yes.
And did you ever do that, or was that something your dad did?
No, I did it too.
And how do you get a group of horses together to pull a plow or something? What do you have to do? How do you arrange that?
Well, you have to have a double tree and 2 single trees.
What does that mean?
That's spreaders that the traces hook on to. The traces are the parts of the harness that pull.
Gotcha.
And they would attach the traces to the single tree, and there would attach the single tree to the double tree, and it's a spreader.
It's a bar that keeps it's a piece of wood that's got some iron loops on the side so that you can put the single tree attached to,
Yeah.
and that'll keep the horses from bumping into each other. Correct?
Right.
Okay. And it also keeps them in next to each other.
Yes.
I gotcha. Now it sounds like horses were pretty important to the farm when you were a kid. Is that right?
Well, we never had a car till Dad bought a 33 Chevy first, about 1940.
Okay.
And he had a Model A after that. He sold the Model A to Bob Adams. And the first truck that we owned was a 47 Ford. It was previously owned and bought new by Otis Tucker, but we didn't buy it from Otis. We bought it from Marcus Potts.
Okay. And Otis Tucker was married to your Aunt Dorothy, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you had a car in 1940. So from the time you were born till you were 3, the family didn't own an automobile, correct?
I think that's right.
Okay. And then you guys had a car, but you were still relying on the team and the wagon to carry stuff because you didn't have a truck until after 47, right?
Right.
Okay.
But we hauled stuff in the wagon behind the team.
Okay. Well, if the whole family was going to go into town, how did, even after you had a car, would everybody fit in the car at once, or did you take the team in a wagon if you wanted to take the whole family somewhere?
I don't remember going to town or visiting with the wagon and team.
Okay.
We must have done that because Grandpa lives on Clear Springs, this side of Van Buren, and we went to visit him occasionally.
Okay. Did you guys ever rent any additional farmland? Lease any farmland to?
Yes.
Where did you? Where was this farmland that you leased or rented?
First farm east of Fremont was owned by Father Hedgepeth.
Fodder Hedgepeth?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to use that name. All right, and you leased Fodder Hedgepeth's land. What did you grow there?
Mostly alfalfa.
Okay, and that was food for your livestock, correct?
We sold that also.
Okay, all right. And I thought I heard once that you guys farmed the land near Big Spring. Is that correct?
Well, we didn't rent the spring field, but Uncle Coon did, and we were constantly helping him bale hay off of it, and the hay from the field by the spring was mainly Johnson grass.
Is that good? Hay?
No, it's pretty terrible feed, and you can get Johnson grass started on your farm from the feeding.
Oh, so people didn't like it if you gave them Johnson grass in the hay that you sold them, right?
Right.
Okay. So what did you do to try and get rid of Johnson grass in your hay? Or did Coon not care?
Coon didn't care. We had a bed of Johnson grass on the farm, and we did everything short of pulling it out by hand to get rid of it. And Watercraft, who we bought gasoline from, he would deliver it to the farm, and he put gas on it where he had to deliver the gas.
Now did you say Walter Crafton?
Yeah.
Now, and isn't your younger brother Bob's daughter married to a man named Crafton?
Yes, but there is some relation to Walter, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. All right. And then another name you said earlier was Uncle Coon, and well, that's a weird name. How did he come to be called Coon?
My dad's story was he was a fat baby, and when he was a baby, the local doctor said he was fat as a coon.
A raccoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the name stuck.
All right. All right. What's your favorite memory from that time period, when you were, little kid, you were a kid living on the farm? What's your, when you look back at that, what's your favorite thing for you to think about?
I don't have any favorite memories. I don't have any bad memories either.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, let me ask it this way then. What was your life like during the school year? I mean, you went to school every day, right? During the
Yes.
school year. So what would you guys do when you'd get out of bed? You were, I mean, you back when you were still living in that house down the bottom of the hill without electricity, without running water. What how tell me about how your morning would go when you were going to go to school that day.
Well, we had to uh, go get water and firewood for the stove before we left for school. And it was 3/4 of a mile to the school, half uh, half a mile down the road, and a quarter across the field.
Okay. And did you and your brothers and your sisters all go to the same school?
Yes,
All right. And how many grades were in that school?
8.
Okay. And do you remember who your teachers were?
Mr. Condry, uh, uh, the first 5 years of it, and then we had Margie Pig and Irvin Rogers and Hazel Strong.
When you were in that school, that from first to eighth grade, that school building, did you have any thoughts about what you wanted to do as far as a career or what your life was going to look like when you were an adult?
Uh, Not really. Uh, I had figured I would raise pigs on the farm
Okay. And why did you think it'd be pigs and not cattle or goats or sheep?
because Mr. Thompson lived across the valley from us, and he raised pigs. And one particular time, he told me that he bought every bite of feed that pigs ate and cleared about a third on it. And we decided to switch from Hampshire hogs to spotted Poland's and B raise hogs instead of cattle.
Do cattle need more land and more feed than pigs?
Yes,
Okay.
and you can't feed cattle confined like you can hogs.
Okay. Were you guys able to butcher your own cattle and hogs there on the farm?
Yes,
So when you did that, did you guys butcher and then take like meat into town to sell also, or was that all for yourselves?
no, that was all to myself.
Okay. I remember a smokehouse. Is that how you would cure the meat when you were a kid?
Usually we packed it in salt,
Okay.
but smoked meat was there's also the done.
Okay. All right. So after you got up in the morning, going back to my question about how your school day went, you'd get up in the morning and you'd get water and firewood. Where did you get the water from?
We had to carry it from the spring to down to the house
Okay.
and fill the reservoir on the stove. I had about a 6-gallon reservoir on the side of it, and that if we were going to take a bath or something, that was the hot water.
Oh, okay. All right. And then did you have another place where you just kept buckets of water in the house for cooking and cleaning purposes?
We had a water bucket that was sitting on the counter with a dipper in it,
Okay.
and that was the fresh water for the day.
Okay. All right. And then you would go to school. How long would you be in school? Was it just till lunch, or did you go to school after in the afternoons as well? How long was a school day?
From 8 till 4.
8 till 4. What was your favorite class when you were a kid, or your favorite subject?
Recess.
Every kid's answer. All right. And then at 4, what would you guys do?
Go home and change clothes and put on work clothes and go see what Dad had lined out for us to do that afternoon.
What were typical chores during the school year?
Typical chores. Well, they ranged anywhere from uh, from uh, minding the cows out of the field to sacking grain.
Okay. Did you have a dog help you move livestock from field to field?
We did, but Dad trained the dogs, and he was more accustomed to Dad's voice than ours.
Oh, okay. So what kind of commands did your dad give the dog that the dog would follow?
He had a dog that he would send after the milk cow and the sheep, and the dog knew which was the milk cow, and he would bring it into the barn and stick it in the stall where the milk cow wood.
What kind of dog was this?
But